Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Kansas Flamingo Chef. I'm Bill, your host, the Kansas Flamingo Chef. Today, we're going to make meatloaf. But not just any meatloaf. We're going to have a little fun with it. We're going to make stuffed meatloaf. Stay tuned. Okay, stuffed meatloaf really is just a matter of putting stuff in meat, right? I mean, there's no real secret to it. But it's what we're going to stuff the meatloaf with. Now, we'll talk about the meatloaf itself in a minute, but I want to talk about the things that are going to go inside. So I've got some Greek olives. I've got some Clamato olives as well as some just green Greek olives here. We're going to put a few of those in there. I've got some white onion. I've got about 6 pieces of asparagus. I've got the bacon that I just dropped on the floor. I've got a couple of pounds of grass-fed ground beef. Now this is 85% lean. Don't use anything less than 80% lean because the bacon is going to produce so much fat anyway, you don't need more fat. I've also got a couple of different kinds of cheese. I've got Gouda and I've also got some provolone. Already sliced, just makes it a little faster. And then I've got some ham sliced and some sliced salami. And yes, all that's going in the meatloaf. We're also going to use some eggs and a little bit of breadcrumbs and some salt and pepper. That's really it. Now, those of you who've watched my channel before know I have a habit of forgetting to tell you about ingredients. This time, it was minced garlic. But if you know me by now, you know I believe in using garlic. Okay, so we're going to start with the eggs. So I am a firm believer that for every pound of meat, you need an egg. So I've got 2 pounds of beef, and I get 2 baby chickens. All right. Next, we're going to drop the meat in here. I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, grass-fed ground beef. Cut these packages open just to make it a little faster. All right. Now to that, we're going to add some Italian breadcrumbs. Now don't go crazy when you first put these in there because you're going to add them as you go to get it to the consistency you want. And then last but not least, we're going to put a big tablespoon or 2 of minced garlic. Now I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to this before I start digging my hands into it. However much you like. And I'm also going to put a little Greek seasoning in it. Just a little Cavender's Greek seasoning. Okay? There's no secret to this. Just knead it together until it gets to the consistency that you need. And then we'll start putting it in the pan. Okay, at this point I'm going to preheat the oven. I'm just going to set it on 350 and I'm going to actually set it on convection. If you don't have a convection setting on your oven, that's okay. Just set it to 350. So in the pan, I'm going to start by taking a couple of pieces of bacon, raw bacon. I like the hickory smoked bacon, but if you prefer apple or whatever flavors you like, it's fine. So we're just going to take this, pull the strands apart, and just kind of let them drop into the pan and push them down so they're not hanging out over the side. And do that all the way across the bottom of the pan. So it probably is going to take about 5 or 6 strips of bacon. Okay, doesn't have to be beautiful. It's just the bottom. It's like your pie crust at this point. We're going to go ahead and put our meat in here. And just kind of press it down over the bacon all the way around. Now once we get that done, we're actually going to make an incision in our meatloaf, but not all the way through. So I'm just going to take a spatula and I'm going to pull it apart like this, not all the way across, about 3/4, and make a big divot. And then kind of push the sides up like this. And we can open this divot up, but we want to make sure we keep meat in the bottom, so you may have to pull some down. Okay? All right, now in our divot, we're going to start putting stuff in it. So I'm going to start by laying asparagus in here and pressing them into the meat. I've got 6 pieces, and I'm actually going to press a couple of them into the sides of the meat, just a little bit. Then I'm going to take a few olives and lay them in there like that. I'm going to take some ham. 1 or 2 pieces is really all you're going to need. I'm just going to lay it across this divot that we've made here. Okay? And push them down in there as well. Same thing with the cheese. And a couple of pieces of Gouda. Gouda happens to be my favorite cheese. I'm going to set them to the outside. And then last but not least, we're going to take a couple pieces of salami. I'm going to use 3 because it's small. We're making a sandwich here, kids. I mean, that's really what's going on. Okay? Now, as you push this down, what you're going to do is try to press it down in that channel as best you can. Okay? Now get ready for the weird part. We're going to crack 2 more eggs and set right on top of that. All right. The only thing you need to do this now is chop up some onion and put on the top if you want. You don't have to if you don't like onion. I happen to like onion, so I'm going to chop up the onion. And then I like to put a little bit of oregano over the top just because I like oregano. And you can put shredded cheese over this if you want to. You don't need to. At this point, this needs to go in the oven. Bake it at 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I'll show you then. So I just took it out of the oven. And I'm going to let you see it. We'll zoom in here. And when it comes out, this is actually still cooking. It actually is cooking itself in the bacon grease. So you want to continue to let that cook for 5 or 10 minutes and let it rest for maybe 10 to 15 minutes before you cut it. But when you cut it, you want to make sure that you cut across the channel. So we made the divot running this way. So we don't want to cut lengthwise, we want to cut it across, because then you're going to get that really cool looking plating. And I've made some mashed potatoes in the break. We'll let this set for just a minute, and then we'll cut it, set it on a plate, and see what it looks like. All right, so when you get ready to plate this up, one of the things you want to do is take a spatula and run around all 4 sides so that you make sure that nothing is stuck to the side of the pan. So when you cut it, it comes out in a solid piece. Now I'm just going to cut a piece right here on the end. And as you cut it, you will see the egg actually cut at the top too, because what we've got over here basically is a sunny side up egg. And we'll take that out with a spatula and plate it up. All right, so there's what it looks like plated. You can see the fried egg in there and the asparagus, cheese, absolutely amazing. Now, I like to put a little red sauce on this, but you don't need to. You can eat it just like it is. It's perfect. You can use gravy if you wanted to, or any kind of sauce that you like on meatloaf. But I like a little bit of red sauce. Anyway, there it is, stuffed meatloaf. The whole thing took about an hour. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. By all means, tell your friends to come see the Kansas Flamingo Chef. I can't cook it if I don't know you want to know about it. Tell me what recipe you're interested in and let me give it a try. Have a fantastic day, and by all means, eat fabulous.